The Great American Bash takes place this Sunday in Orlando, Florida at the WWE Performance Center. Unfortunately, they couldn't find a venue outside of the PC because NXT is failing to sell out anywhere it goes outside of its traditional venue, and it's kind of sad. The only thing I can think of is Stand and Deliver this year, and I think they had a Madison Square Garden to show, and that did well, and Stand and Deliver did well in St. Louis, but other than that, they haven't been outside of the Performance Center. It's just like it's a rebuilding year for NXT, and they don't have many draws, many stars, and they're struggling. And the ratings are still good from what I gather, but in terms of attendance, they can't draw outside of the PC, and that's why this is the second of 3 PLEs for NXT inside the PC, and this will be airing on the CW network in the States. Here, I don't know where I'm watching in Canada. I assume it's YouTube. I haven't checked actually, but we have 7 matches. Usually we get 5 matches for PLEs, even NXT, but this is quite a bit. Unfortunately, a few of the matches are just like TV matches, and they actually belong on a TV episode of NXT. It's like a throwaway show, so you have a lot of garbage, I think, on this show. A lot of people who don't belong on PLEs, but I'll just start off quickly. Charlotte Hill against Tristian Angels. I don't care. Charlotte Hill's going to win. I rant about Charlotte Hill every single week. I think he's awful. He's trying to play this country guy, when in reality he's just some jock football guy who's really bad. He's just a really bad actor. He sucks. I don't like Shiloh Hill. I don't want to see this match. Not much of this Tristian Angels, this Jimmy Seville wannabe. I don't care much about this match. Shiloh Hill's going to win. Saquon Sugars against Dion Lennox. Fuck Dark State. Dark State sucks. One of the worst factions in modern WWE history. I fucking hate them. They got all the screen time. Again, it's just a bunch of fucking jocks. A bunch of NIL bullshit. That's all this is. It's fucking NIL bullshit with this fucking Dion Lennox and those 2 other bums. And Saquon Sugars is an independent wrestler. I don't care. I don't care about this match. I don't see much in Saquon Sugars. I don't care. I'm not interested in this fucking match. But I do think Saquon Sugars will beat Dion Lennox. Next, we go to the WWE Women's Speed Championship. Wren Sinclair defending against Arianna Grace. So a 3-minute match in a PLE. I think the Speed Championship shouldn't be defended on PLEs. It should be the equivalent of like a television title in which it's only defended on TV. I don't think they shouldn't have like a 3-minute match on a PLE, but Wren against Arianna, I think it made sense for Arianna to win. I do really like Wren, I've always have, and I'm a fan of hers, but I think it makes sense for Arianna to get this, and I think they're starting to tease some tension with Wren and Kendal. And I just think with Arianna, she's a better heel, and I think this gimmick will work better with this title will work better with her, especially with Wren's injury. I don't think it makes sense for her to win. I think Kalani Jordan really, she beat up her knee at one episode of NXT, so I think Arianna is going to take this, and I'm sure because Kendall's not going to be there because she has her match later, I'm sure Birthright will play a role in Arianna winning. Next, we go to the NXT Women's North American Championship. Zaria defending against Tatum Paxley. This is the easiest match to predict. We all know Zaria is going to win. She'll beat Tatum Paxley. They had a good match on NXT a week ago, or was it 2 weeks ago? I'm not sure, but they had a really good match. I enjoyed it. Zaria won. Tatum, I think, is probably going to the main roster very soon. I liked her run in NXT. I think she's had a surprise run. I don't think anyone had this. I don't think people were expecting her to do as well as she did because she was kind of an unknown, and she's done very well in NXT. Good for her. And I think she's going to the main roster soon, and she is obviously going to lose to Zaria here. Zaria, this is the lock of the night. This is a guaranteed win. Next, we have the NXT North American Championship. Myles Borne defending against Tavion Heights, his former friend. I don't see much in Tavion. I really don't. I'm not a big fan. I don't see much of an appeal into him. Some people like him. I just see him as just another guy, just a generic guy to have. Myles Borne, I think, has a lot more potential. I think he should go for the NXT Championship soon, but here I don't think he's dropping the North American Championship to Tavion Heights. I think Myles Borne will win, and then I guess Heights can turn on him and formally turn heel, then they can do a stipulation and blow the feud off after that. That's where I think they're probably going with that. But yeah, I think Myles Borne's going to win. Next, we go to the NXT Women's Championship. Lola Vice defending against Kendal Gray. Should be a good matchup here. I'm looking forward to this. This is an interesting match. You know, I love Kendal Gray. I think she has all the talent in the world. I think she's going to be the top female star in the company. I think Lola Vice has potential on the main roster. Here in this match, I don't think Lola's going to the main roster yet. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think this is the best time to call someone up before SummerSlam. And I think Kendal Gray will defeat Lola Vice, just not at this show. I do think Lola Vice is going to retain here. I think Kendall's going to kind of blow it. And I think they're going to tease tension with Kendal and Wren. Eventually, Kendall's going to beat Lola. But I think it makes sense to continue to chase for her. And having her win will be a great moment. And I think Lola keeps the belt here, though. I think Lola Vice will beat Kendal Gray. She's only had it since April, and it'll be a very short title reign. It'll only be 2.5 months since she won that Stand and Deliver. So it'll be very short if she loses this match. And I think she's going to win. I think they had her chase for a while, and I think right now she beats Kendal, and I think eventually Kendal will beat her, but for this show, the Great American Bash, I think Lola Vice will win. Next, we go to the match that I wasn't sure if this was going to be the main event, but the way the NXT ended on Tuesday, I think this is definitely the main event now. The NXT Championship on the line, Chorn D'Angelo defending against Naraku. Look, this is a very difficult match to predict. I think this really could go either way. I think it's the toughest match on the entire show, and it's an unpredictable main event. One of the more unpredictable main events we've seen in a while, because this really could go either way. It's almost like a coin toss for me. I don't know, because the way they've been, what they did to Chorn D'Angelo's eye makes me think, okay, Naraku's going to win. But then again, they could have Chorn D'Angelo win. I also could see a scenario when people aren't going to like this where it ends in a no contest. They would never do that at a venue outside the Performance Center, but because they are in the Performance Center, I can see a situation where it just ends like in a no contest. I could see it because this is going to be a long-term feud. Naraku's winning this championship eventually. I don't think it's at this show. I think Chorn D'Angelo wins. It's like a coin toss. I easily could see Naraku win. My gut says Choni, and I could be wrong. I would not be surprised if Naraku wins. I wouldn't be surprised if Choni wins. It's a very difficult match to predict. It could go either way. I think Choni keeps it. And I think, he just won it at Stand and Deliver. I think he holds it for a while. Eventually, he'll drop it to Naraku. But right now, I think Chorn D'Angelo wins. Same thing with Lola Vice. They just won the belt at the last PLE. I think they keep it past at least one more PLE before they drop their title. So I'm predicting Chorn D'Angelo to retain the NXT Championship in the main event of the Great American Bash.